Are these fish interested? Am I going to get these fish to go, or do I need to lead fish to find fish? Make sure I have chum for those next fish that I find that are ready to bite. Back to fish management. If I pull up to a patty and I look down on this thing and I see these fish come out and act a certain way, I'm going to be like, get ready. Okay, I may chum a little bit, these things light up, get ready, these ones are going to bite. This is the patty. Client fisherman management conditions, same thing. Is this going to be a 3-knot drift past this patty? Is it going to be a slow drift? Are the fish going to stay with the boat? Can we stand up? Can I get someone on the bow and someone on the stern? Yeah. So when we do a patty plan, I know the fish have been on patties only usually, and I'm really focused on them. I'm not putting troll rods out. I'm not slowing the boat down to do that. Now we're killing more time. No one out there has been getting any troll strikes. No open water activity at all. No activity from birds, no activity from surface fish or anything like that. Straight patty fishing. That's what we're doing now. Okay. Now I'm ready for you. Have you guys ever heard someone say, man, it's really dry out there when they talk about the ocean? Or it's a desert, right? There, you can drive through 30 miles of ocean and see not even a bird, not a scrap of kelp or anything. You could have a week where you're fishing kelps consistently, and you've got plenty of kelps. They're all over up and down this line. And then the next week, there's no kelps. In order to have kelp, we need the kelp to break off, and we need the kelp to get in the currents. If that doesn't happen and it dries up, now we go back to my time management deal and we say, hey, you know, now are we talking about 4 patties for the day? How am I gonna work? Okay, so it's not always, we're gonna go find kelps and fish a bunch of kelps. There may be hard to find, and the ones we find aren't holding, and we gotta find the ones that are holding. Regardless of that, awesome little drawing here. Hey, you got some napkins over there? Could use for like an eraser. See, you guys got any bar napkins? We're like white.
Maybe a little alcohol. A little beer.
Okay, I'm about as good of a drawer as I am at spelling, okay? What this is saying here, come right over here. What I'm saying here is, this is our kelp, okay? If I go out there and I know, okay, you know what, we're seeing a lot of kelps. I don't want to start 100 yards off of this and waste all our time. I'm going to do what I call knocking on the door. Okay? I want to knock on that door. Anybody home? Nope. Okay, see you later. In doing so, I can go kelp to kelp to kelp to kelp to kelp till we find that kelp that's going to produce something for us. That's knocking on the door. Now, when we're knocking on the door, it can be a kelp that's just sitting out there by itself floating. Okay, and it has no signal. When I mean signal, I mean a bird sitting on it, a bird up above it looking down, a little breezer from the fish around it, or bait movement. Okay, those are all signals that say, hey, get ready, dude, something's here, we're gonna get bit. Okay, or there is something here at least. To knock on the door without any signal, what I'm gonna do, here's my kelp, okay? I only drive 1 boat, I don't take 6 boats. The drift and wind direction is this way, okay? If I find a kelp, usually what I'm gonna do is knock on the door. I'm gonna come up in front of it. Let's say I have a right-handed caster. I'm gonna come up the patty this way, okay? One, we're gonna start in front of the patty. Right here, I'm gonna have whoever's on the bow shake the line out of a stripping bucket I have. Shake the line out, full fly line, and we're gonna leave it out there. Here's the little fly. I'm gonna get up here. That fly is gonna be sitting out here. By the time I'm here, I've got side scan. Okay? Now I'm looking at that patty on my side scan. If it lights up with fish, at this point, I'm throwing a couple baits. This fly is gonna get bitten. As I get to this point, I've got my side scans going. Now that fly's here with a little bit of bend in the line. Now the angler, second angler, as they get up on the bow, now he's in the bow, and when I make it to this position, I'm in neutral, okay? Now I'm in neutral. And this turns into a drift with the wind direction coming past that patty. Yeah.
Captain Mark, is that back angler stripping or just letting the thing?
Yes and no. If it lights up here, and I know there's fish, by the time I'm here, the fly's in it, now I want some action. If the boat's on a drift, I may do what I call shake and bake. When you fish with me, you're gonna hear me say shake and bake a lot. Who's my Mexico going to Loreto, right? Okay, shake and bake technique is when you're in a boat and you have a drift and you put your fly out there, that fly's already got movement. That fly's already going like this. You add a strip to it, it's giving it action, okay? If we were on the anchor and you throw your fly out there, all it's doing is sinking. Shake and bake combines the cast and the movement of the boat to make the cast, angler ability too. You don't always need a full cast. If you want your fly to be 2 feet in the water, don't throw a full fly line and start ripping it because it's gonna stay right here. Roll cast it, throw half a line and shake it out. Let that drop while the boat drifts away from it. And it's gonna pick up that line and be down in the column where you need it. Boom, triggers bites. So you may be working, you may not. If my side scan lights up, by the time I'm here, I'm gonna tell you rip it. That chum there, they may come up on it, and now this guy's on. Usually this guy's bit first, okay? The back door. These fish may be over here. They see the boat, just the boat, no chum is enough for them to come out, and they come up the back. Here's where a lot of us make mistakes offshore fly fishing. We get on the bow and we cast at the patty. Those fish will come up the back door, right? So now my back angler's bit. Now this guy's bit. The boat's on a drift now going this way. Now this guy is here making his casts at the patty, right? So you got the line off here, and those fish are all circling up, coming behind us. Okay. Everyone with me on that? Yeah. Okay.
Wind is going right to left.
Wind's going right to left. So I motored this way. When I say motor, I'm just in gear. I motored this way, metered the fish, started my turn to get to a drift, so the wind will push my boat this way. Now what you're asking is, well, why is the boat turning? Okay. My motors right here, there's 2 motors, I have dual motors, are pointed straight. If I turn those motors on my drift, my bow will turn. And that opens up the bow for the guy on the bow, opens up a cast for the guy on the bow to open up and hit. Okay? That allows him to start targeting. Once we pass this patty, I turn the boat sideways. You have one fly line here, working the fish, and one guy in the stern working the fish. Now the boat's on a drift. What are we doing? Shake and bake time. Leave the fly out there for the fish. The fish is in the water. The fish isn't in the air. The fish is in the water where the fly needs to be. Okay, as much as we want to cast, 90% of the time you're better off leaving that fly out there, stripping half a fly line and shaking it back out and let it get down to the column and then work that fly back. Wait for those fish to come by, okay, as that chum comes up. Okay? So that's our knocking on the door. I can get all this done pretty quick. In this scenario, we found fish, okay? You okay?
Getting a little dry.
Good thing I didn't bring the heavy one.
Getting a little dry. Need a beer.
Okay, now here's our patty.
Wait.
Now, we drop this fly in. I pull up behind the boat. This fly's still out. I start to circle it. I start running my side scan. I don't meter anything. I tell you, strip that fly into the basket, strip the fly into the basket, set the rod down, pin the fly, you can take a break now. Pin the fly on the basket and sit down and we move on. I can do that in 3 minutes, right? But if we pulled up and those fly were out there, well, guess what? We already had a fly in the water, so if they backdoor us, we got bit. Okay, now we know it. If the meter lights up like I want it to see, and those fish start reacting, that drift on the back side of that patty can turn into an hour-long bite, and I can keep those fish going for us. Okay? That's knocking on the door. Okay? Let's pull up. If there are any fish, wrap it like that. Use my instruments, use my chum, use my vision. I'm up top driving. I'm looking down. I can see everything. I can see if there's fish down there. If there's not, boom, on to the next. That allows me to hit 20 patties in this 5 hours. Okay, so that's the patty plan.
If we're trying to go and we don't have a side scan, can we?
You're
guess-
up down.
What's that?
Just use your up down. Your regular.
I was just gonna ask, are the fish undisturbed likely to be on the upwind side of the patty, or is it predictable?
That's a really good question. Fish aren't always under the patty, okay? Midday, I'm usually looking more under the patty because they're gonna get under there for a little bit of sun protection, take a break. But no, you know, if your boat drifts by a patty, they're gonna